The Disney Plus Marvel shows have certainly had their ups and downs in last year, but with Moon Knight, we actually have a series which is centered around a brand new character entering the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With that, unless you are a comic book reader, you wouldn't know anything about Moon Knight like myself. I had no idea about this character at all, so it was really going in blind and seeing this whole origin story play out. And just to let you know, we will be talking full spoilers here, so this is your spoiler warning. In terms of first impressions, I would say the first episode of Moon Knight is probably the best one out of all the Disney Marvel shows. Like, I love how we witnessed the character Stephen Knight go about his everyday life, and you see these odd things going about. There's definitely some mysteries we're going to unravel here, and it was just really intriguing. And it did such a great job of that. When you actually think about it, it's only the last scene we actually see Moon Knight. And something else I want to mention from the first episode is the end credits. I thought they looked really great visually, but also the music for it was really powerful and really fitted this series well, I thought. And I think it was underused as well. It was only used in 3 out of the 6 episodes. And that music, if you haven't listened to it again, have another listen to it. I think it's one of the best ones they've actually had in terms of the Marvel shows. Up there with the Loki soundtrack. Moving on through the series now, and I thought the second episode was a little bit too fast compared to how it was in the first episode. We really took our time there, but I think it was a bit rushed in that second episode. I still enjoyed it, but I thought it could have definitely took its time a little bit more there. I'm getting quite a lot of answers from that second episode. We moved into the mid portion of the series, we arrived in Egypt, and it was a lot more focused on the two characters and the fight for the body, with Stephen and Mark bickering back and forth about who should take control and that sort of thing. And I really did enjoy that. I thought Oscar Isaac did a fantastic job as well in the role, or should I say roles. And what these middle episodes also to do was explain the world of Moon Knight a bit more in detail. Like, we had the Egyptian gods, we got introduced to them. We had Layla here, so we got a bit more about her character as well. And I liked when Steven and Layla had that awkward kiss, because you can see the confusion from her, but also with Steven trying to show that power, and that whole power struggle and that whole power dynamic between him and Mark really did lift the show around that point. The show does have a mix of a lot of different older films. Like in episode 4, for example, it was very much an Indiana Jones and Mummy sort of vibe in that one, and I quite enjoyed that. But then we move into episode 5 and it goes full on like Shutter Island, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest type. And I loved as well that it completely opened up the show once again with more mystery, and like, hold on, is everything I just watched legit or not? And I think I will put episode 5 alongside episode 1 in terms of the standout episodes from the series. I really did enjoy episode 5. I felt being in that asylum and not completely knowing what's happening, but then we get a full flashback of Mark, his upbringing with his brother and the death of his brother. We also actually then see the origin of Stephen, so we do learn a lot in episode 5, and I really did enjoy that. We also get introduced to the Hippo Goddess Tower Wet, I believe it's pronounced, but I'm not completely sure, so we'll just call her the Hippo Goddess for now. And we learn that she's there to try and bring Mark and Stephen to the Field of Reeds, which is like a sort of heaven, as long as their hearts are balanced on the scale. Now, I've yet to mention Ethan Hawke, who plays the villain Arthur Harrow, who's quite a reserved cult leader type, but very determined in his goal. And of course, he also plays Dr. Harrow in the Asylum, or aka Ned Flanders. But I thought Ethan Hawke did great in both the different roles he played here. And I did like that with the character of Arthur Harrow, that you can sort of see what he's going for, a little bit like Thanos in that way, where it's not just full on evil for evil's sake. And to the finale, did Moon Knight stick the landing? I would say for the most part he did. We were left with Stephen presumably being no more, but Mark returns to save him with the help of the Hippo Goddess. And it's funny that it took the two personalities to split apart from each other for them to then eventually build a bond with each other. And that bond is showcased well when we have them making the demands to Khonshu in terms of the next agreement, showing that if they use their strengths together, they make a good team. The final fight scene also displays that, and we get our first appearance of Scarlet Scarab, thanks to Layla being the temporary avatar for the Hippo Goddess. And during the battle, we get a scene where a young girl asks her if she is an Egyptian superhero. Marvel have done these sort of scenes in the past, and it always just feel out of place. It's like, maybe leave this sort of thing for the outside world to discuss. You know, trust your audience that they'll clock onto this. Let Twitter and that discuss how great of a moment this is. You know, like, instead it just feels like Marvel pat themselves on the back during an intense scene in the show or movie. But anyway, I did enjoy the final battle for what we did see of it, especially the kaiju type battle with Amit versus Khonshu against the pyramid. That scene where we have Arthur Harrow versus Moon Knight with the full moon in the background, that was really well done as well, and I like how the moon has progressed throughout the series as well. Now, it would have been nice to see how they did get out of that pickle at the end there. We now know that Jake was the one who was in control during all of that. And did leave it a little bit anticlimactic for that reason. Like, it was great for us to like leave it for our imagination to fill in here, but also it's the final part of the show. It would have been nicer to see what actually did go down with this one. But I do understand both sides of the argument, because we did get a really awesome end credit scene with Jake Lockley shooting Arthur Harrow. I think it leaves the character in quite a good place for now because we've got a satisfying end to our story, but we also are quite intrigued to see how we go on forward with Jake Lockley in control. And on my overall feeling towards Moon Knight, I think this is a pretty solid Marvel show. Definitely one of the better Disney ones. You could tell it took inspiration from some films of the past, and it was a good mix at times, but also it sometimes did lose a little bit of focus from that mixture. But all the mysteries of the show, the foreshadowing from the earlier episodes, really made this an intriguing watch and well worth it. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and also let me know where this one ranks in terms of the Marvel Disney shows. Drop a like if you did enjoy the video, and laters, gators.